Struggling with getting the Conquer title? Or maybe you just want a solid build for every subclass? Well, you've come to the right place. I have carefully made a build able to do any level of content for each subclass. I was easily able to solo flawless a Master Lost Sector within around 5 minutes with each of these builds. Starting off with the artifact, it's going to be the same perks with all the builds, with the most important perks being Flashover, Dielectric, Volatile Marksman, Particle Reconstruction, and Defibrillating Blast. Our Archetype build is going to focus on using Storm's Keep to build Bolt Charges with our Rally Barricades, while also having our melee empowered by the exotic we're going to be using. For the weapon I recommend with this build, I'd recommend using Thunderlord. The exotic we're using for this build is going to be Point Contact Cannon Brace. For our super, we're going to be using Thunder Crash for the damage. For our abilities, we're going to be using Rally Barricade, Thunderclap, and Flashbang Grenade. For our aspects, we're going to be using Storm's Keep to build Bolt Charges, and Knockout to regenerate from our Thunderclap kills. For our fragments, we have Spark of Resistance, Spark of Frequency, Spark of Beacons, and Spark of Ions. For our armor mods, we have Hands-On with Double Siphon, Melee Kickstart, Heavy-Handed, and Fastball on the gloves, Resistance mods on the chest piece, Innovation, Invigoration, and Stacks on Stacks on the boots, Distribution, Outreach, and Time Dilation on the class item. Arc Titan was already a very decent subclass before the changes made in episode Heresy, but with the changes made, this build is absolutely shredding everything in the game and has put Arc Titan into one of the best subclasses in the entire game. Our Soul Titan build is going to focus mainly on getting Rally Barricade so we can get the synergy going with our exotic. For the weapon I recommend using Sunshot. For the exotic we're going to be using Kepri's Horn. For our super for this build, we're going to be using Hammer of Soul, which for the damage it does, and for the damage reduction it's going to be giving us while in this state. For abilities, we're going to be using Rally Barricade, Throwing Hammer, and Thermite Grenade to scorch targets. For our aspects, we have Roaring Flames and Consecration. For our fragments, we have Ember of Singeing, Ember of Empyrean, Ember of Torches, and Ember of Ashes. For our armor mods, we have Hands-On with Double Siphon. For our gloves, we have Focusing Strike, Bolstering Detonation, and Harmonic Loader. Resistance mods on the chest piece, Insulation with another Insulation, and an Innovation on the boots, Outreach, Bomber, and Reaper on our class item. This build is really fun to use and is very unique in its playstyle while still destroying anything in your path. Our Titan Void build is going to be focused on having Overshields while having Devour up. For the weapon I'd recommend using Choir of One. For the exotic we're using with this build, using Mask of the Quiet One. For the Void build, we're going to be using Twilight Arsenal. For the abilities, we have Rally Barricade, Shield Throw, and Vortex Grenade, with our aspects being Offensive Bulwark and Controlled Demolition. Fragments are going to be Echo of Persistence, Echo of Undermining, Echo of Harvest, and Echo of Cessation. For the mods for our build, we're going to be using Special Ammo Finder with Double Harmonic Siphon. For our gloves, we're going to be running Focusing Strike, Bolstering Detonation, and Harmonic Loader. For our chest piece, we have Resistance mods. For our boots, we have Innovation with Double Invigoration. And for our class item, we have Reaper, Outreach, and Bomber. Void Titan hasn't really gotten much changes over the years, but with this season's artifact buffs, this build shreds everything in the game. Our Strand Titan will focus primarily on melee attacks. For weapons I'd recommend using a 1-2 punch shotgun like Perfect Paradox or the Eye Color Shotgun. The exotic we're going to be using for this build is going to be Synthoceps. The super we're using is Blade Fury, the only super on Strand. For the abilities, we have Rally Barricade, Frenzied Blade, and Grapple. For the aspects, we have Banner of War and Into the Fray. For the fragments, we have Thread of Generation, Thread of Warding, Thread of Fury, and Thread of Continuity. For our armor mods, we have Hands On with Double Harmonic Siphon. For our gloves, we have Heavy Handed and Melee Kickstart. For our chest piece, we have Resistance mods. For our boots, we have Innervation, Invigoration, and Stacks on Stacks. And for our class item, we have Outreach with Time Dilation. Strand Titan, even with the nerfs that have come to it, proves to be one of the best subclasses in the entire game and can make enemies look weak. The Stasis Titan build is going to focus on making Stasis Lances and also having lots and lots of Frost Armor. For the exotic we're using for this build, we're going to be using Icefall Mantle. For Stasis, we're going to be using Glacial Quake. For our abilities, we have Rally Barricade, Shiver Strike, and Duskfield Grenade. For the aspects, we have Tectonic Harvest with Diamond Lance. For our fragments, we have Whisper of Rhyme, Whisper of Torment, Whisper of Shards, Whisper of Durance, and Whisper of Fissures. For our armor mods, we have Hands On with Double Siphon. For our gloves, we have Impact Induction, Momentum Transfer, and Heavy Handed. For our chest piece, we have all resistance mods. For our boots, Innervation, Invigoration, and Stacks on Stacks. And for the class item, we have Distribution, Outreach, and Time Dilation. Stasis Titan is certainly one of the more fun builds to be using that I have made, and can make content feel very easy with everything being frozen. The Prismatic Build is going to be focused mainly on using Consecration. For weapons, I recommend Lost Signal to easily build that Darkness energy. For the exotic we're going to be using Synthoceps, but if you have the exotic class item, I'd recommend getting Synthoceps and Inmost Light and using that over the regular base exotic that is Synthoceps. For our super, we're going to be using Thunder Crash for the sheer amount of damage it can put out. Also, if you want to get technical with it, you can swap out the exotic we're using for Thunder Crash and do extra damage if you like to do those kind of things. For the abilities, we're using Thruster. You can swap this out with Rally Barricade if you like the extra protection, but for me, I don't need it really, so I like using Thruster. For our melee, we're using Frenzied Blade, so we can get 3 melee charges. Shackle Grenade to suspend high damaging targets, like champs or anything like that. For our aspects, we are using Consecration and Knockout, so we can get the synergy of healing from our Consecration kills. For fragments, we have Facet of Dawn, Facet of Blessing, Facet of Protection, Facet of Purpose, and Facet of Courage. As for the mods for the armor, for a helmet we have Double Siphons with Hands On, Heavy Handed with Melee Kickstart on our gloves, Resistance mods on our chest piece, Innervation, Invigoration, and Stacks on Stacks on our boots, Double Outreach with Time Dilation on our class item. This build is still very good even after Consecration nerf, and is definitely one of the best builds for Titan. Alright, that is the best build for every subclass on Titan. Make sure to comment what your favorite build is, leave a like, and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys for the best build on Hunter for each subclass. Alright guys, peace out.